Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rock Squad podcast, your destination for the latest in rock music news, reviews, and discussion. I'm one of your hosts, Nick Chino, and I'm joined by my co-host and bandmate, it's Dave Marini. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Nick, how's it going? Hey, everybody. Before we get started with today's awesome show, go down to the bottom of this video and subscribe to our channel, like this video, comment on this video, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. We have shows coming out weekly, and we'd love to hear from you. Nick, my friend, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know what? I got some music in the mail. You know, I ordered some albums on the internet, and I thought I would share them with you and with the audience as well, because I always enjoy getting some new music in the mail. I enjoy going to the store as well, but there's still not really that option right now in Hamilton. But I picked up the new album from Weezer. Got some Van Weezer action, which is awesome. I really, really love this record. It's fantastic. Rock album review for that up on the channel right now. Also got the new Royal Blood, a little Typhoons. Actually, this is a very cool. I don't know. Would that be holographic? I don't know what you would call that. I guess
it's like a hologrammy.
Lenticular. Would that be the name? Lenticular.
Yeah.
Shiny.
Yeah. I'm not sure the treatment, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And then this one just came today. My man, the chief, the genius himself, Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, Back the Way We Came, Volume 1. This is the deluxe edition. And obviously the first thing I do when I get any new CDs or any new vinyl, any new music of any kind, Dave, is I sniff the booklet.
Oh yeah, you take a little get it in there,
freshly printed smell of new music. This is a really cool book as well. It's got like tons of photos in it, 3 discs, bonus disc in there with some instrumentals and some remixes and stuff. So I also have an LP version of this coming very soon for the Oasis collection. But that's what I've been doing, just buying some music. You know, that's how you do it. You got to support your favorite artists.
Those are good ones. So you went and bought those, eh? I thought maybe they were like a hookup.
What was that?
You bought those, eh? I thought maybe it was like a music hookup.
I wish. I wish. Even when I was working at the radio station, I never got any hookups for anything big. At least I was always get lots of free stuff from indie bands and stuff, which is great. I'm not gonna knock that, but I never really got a lot of free music from the bands that I was a huge fan. Nor did we ever get concert tickets. You think I was working at a radio station, you get some more hookups, but it didn't really happen.
Yeah, very rarely.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to listen to the new Mammoth WVH album yet?
Oh, dude, it's so cool. There's so many cool tracks on it.
Yeah, for sure. We put up a rock album review on the channel. This might be one of my favorite rock albums of the year so far. You know, you and I are always on the same page in terms of what we like in music. Not always, but most of the time we're on the same page when it comes to what we like in music. And I think Mammoth WVH scratches all the itches that we both feel in rock. It's got big drums, big guitar. The vocals are incredible. Wolfgang Van Halen can really belt it out with the best of them. And he did all the instruments on this record himself. It's just so impressive. And I'm just really happy for the guy. He's super talented.
Yeah, man. It's like the singles that he put out are a very good snapshot of what's to come from that band, you know, and it's or that project. And he's great, man. You can't deny, he's undeniable. He's great at everything he's doing. He's playing the drums. He's had some great teachers along the way, you know. I'm sure,
so. For sure.
Like two of the he's like really close with two of the best frontmen ever of rock, with David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar. And then your dad and uncle, or who they are, like it's not, those guys, those kids that grow up that way. I was watching something the other day with Jack Black's kid, and Jack Black's kid is a normal kid, except that on Sundays Tony Hawk comes over and gives him skateboarding lessons. You know what I mean? Like, that's hilarious. So it's one of those things. But when you're one of those legacy kids like Tony Hawk has a son who's a skateboarder too. And when you're a legacy kid like that, the pressure is on. That kid will probably never be Tony Hawk, but Wolfgang
getting some
has a good chance of holding that torch for the next generation, for sure, I think.
I think he's very much well on his way to carrying that torch for his dad. And the music's different. Mammoth WVH is much more of a hard rock, modern rock record than what Van Halen was doing. But the torch is being carried. The music is super strong, and it's already one of my favorite rock records of 2021. So you can check out our rock album review for Mammoth WVH. It's up on the channel right now. And Dave, for our band Fool's Union, we got together with our guitar player, John Daly, on the weekend, and we actually played music together. It was pretty incredible.
It was glorious. Wasn't it a glorious coming together?
It was.
We waited so long. Oh my God. I feel like a little bit, now I'll probably get heat for this, but I feel like we've gone away, like, for war or something. And then we've finally come back. Like, where have you been? Because for some time, nobody really knew what was going to go on. Like, people were afraid they were going to die. So, like, you throw that element into missing people and people you see on a regular basis and trying to keep everybody safe. It was great. It was great to see everybody, and it was great to hang out, jam a little bit,
play some music,
shop, and have some hamburgers, and it was awesome. It was
some Twizzlers. Really nice. Some Twizzlers in there too.
It's really nice to get back into the conversation and the not so doom and gloom.
Yeah, it was great. So we got together and played some music, and hopefully with the condition of the pandemic, improving in most areas, we're really rooting for everybody, to get vaccinated and for everybody to stay healthy. So the more that happens, the more that we can get back to the rock. And it was just a little taste that we got this past weekend. That was very enjoyable playing with you guys, getting
absolutely
in real life. So let's get to this week's Rock Squad podcast. Let's give you a rundown on how we do things here on the show. Coming up, we'll get to our headliner topic, which this week we're changing things up a little bit and having a little bit of a broader conversation that isn't news related. We're going to be talking about our favorite summer rock album. Summer's just around the corner. We're pretty much already there. So we'll be talking about that on our headliner topic this week. And then first, we got to get to our opening act topic, some of the big rock music news items that are happening right now in the world of rock music news. And Dave, there's actually quite a few topics that I put on the board for this week. I had a couple of topics already chosen, and then some things broke today that I thought were very interesting. So let's get to those. The first one being that the Foo Fighters have announced a new Record Store Day release as the DGs. They've announced a new Record Store Day exclusive album called Hail Satin, I think is how you would say it, under the name of the DGs, covering disco hits by the Bee Gees. It's going to feature 5 of their tunes, plus some live cuts of tunes from Medicine at Midnight that they recorded at Studio 606 in LA. This is going to come out on July 17th. Are we excited for this, Dave? What do you think about the Foo Fighters going disco on this thing?
I think it's fun. You got to have fun with Record Store Day, and you got to do fun things. And when you're in a legacy project like the Foo Fighters, and you're expected to do one thing all the time, and you step out of the box and you have extra material outside of the box, you got to do something with it. And I think this is really cool. I think that it's very well known and documented that those guys love the 70s and love all types of different music. So yeah, I'm excited. It'll be cool. There's not a ton of Foo Fighters covers either. So it's there are, but there aren't, you know what I mean? Like official release stuff, there's not. So it's cool to get some something different. I think that the latest record is very 70s groove, and it has lots of those pop elements from the 70s that were so prominent. So yeah, it's cool, man. Do something fun. It's Record Store Day. It's something to add to your Foo Fighters collection. I'm sure you're into it. I think you know.
Yeah, I'm very into it. I think the Foo Fighters do disco very well. And Dave Grohl said in an interview that he said this is the easiest thing that they've ever recorded because of all the falsetto vocals that he had to do. He's used to screaming his lungs out. So to be able to soften things up and sing a little Bee Gees style stuff, I think is a cool break for him. And I don't usually line up for Record Store Day. We just had the first drop this past Saturday. I wasn't anywhere near Record Store Day for RST this year, but I'm thinking I might get this because the thing that would get me out to Record Store Day is to be able to get material that you can't get anywhere else. And as far as I know, these disco covers are only going to be on this release on Record Store Day on July 17th. So who knows? I might have to get up early at the crack of dawn and go line up for this thing. And we've been talking, this is our 13th episode of the podcast. We've been talking about Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters for the better part of these 13 episodes because there's always something new coming out with the Foo Fighters, whether it be Medicine at Midnight or the What Drives Us documentary, the stuff he's doing with his mom on their show about rock moms, the book, all these different things. They just got back together and played their first show in a long time in California over the last couple of days. So Foo Fighters are definitely dominating 2021 so far.
Non-stop, man. We talk about Dave Grohl and something he's doing almost every week. So it's one of those things. It's great though. Like, we're huge Foo Fighters fans. So, and I'm sure lots of people are huge Foo Fighters fans.
Yeah.
So, what a treat for the last 2 years, 3 years to be like one thing, documentary, book, this and that. Yeah. Like, it's great. It's awesome. And I've said it before, I think that band will probably slow down a little bit in the next couple of years. So take it while you can get it, man. Like, think of all those bands that people loved in the 80s and stuff, like a Van Halen, who, it was kind of, you never knew when shit was going to happen. You never just take it. Take as much as you can, absorb it. You never know when it's going to end. So I'm all for it.
Did you, I don't want to get political or anything on the show, but did you hear about how there were protesters at their show the other night in California, anti-vax protesters? Because the Foo Fighters show and the one they have coming up at Madison Square Garden this weekend are all for fully vaxxed people. And I don't agree with shaming anybody if they're not getting vaccinated, but it's like, hey, if you want to get the Foo Fighters show, go get your shot. You're good to go. Sure. You can go see as many shows as you want.
Yeah, man. Like, people people can choose for themselves and do their own thing. We're vaccinated. So, that's where we stand. We want people to be happy and healthy and protect other people. See some
shows.
So, and go get out and see some shows. So, if you're not going to play ball and you're, what I do feel bad for is the people that have maybe a condition or something where they can't get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And that's a shame that they get left out of that kind of scenario. But for anyone else who's just trying to be a good person and get their shit together, and I think that do it and come to some cool rock shows. It seems to be the way that it's moving.
Yeah.
I'm not sure,
we're doing just fine.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think it's pretty proven to be safe, and hundreds of millions of batches distributed worldwide in very few situations, negative situations out of it. So if this gets us back to a normal state where people aren't sick and we're not worried about infecting everyone we know, and it's the way it is. So yeah, hopefully, it's too bad that they had to protest. And like I said, those poor people that can't get in because of a medical condition or something, but hopefully this all just goes away and we won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, for sure. We don't want to get too deep into the weeds about that stuff.
But sure.
It was in the news this week, so I just wanted to mention it since the Foo Fighters have dominated the headlines so much so far this year. But we're looking forward to this new disco record, this Record Store Day exclusive, Hail Satin, I suppose it will be called, be coming on July 17th. So let's get to our next opening act topic on the Rock Squad podcast this week, and that is the Beatles Get Back documentary. Is becoming a 6-hour limited series. The Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson is doing a redo, essentially, of the Let It Be movie from 1970 that originally came out. And it was going to be a feature film that was going to come out in movie theaters, but instead they're turning it into this series. It's actually becoming longer than it was originally intended. So it's going to air on Disney Plus with 3 2-hour installments that are going to happen over the American Thanksgiving weekend. So November 25th, 26th, and 27th. The movie's going to include tons of never before seen remastered footage. There's almost 150 hours of stuff that we've never seen that was shot back in January of 1969. It might not be, that long, that we're thinking it's not going to be 150 hours, but it's definitely going to be, cool. So are you looking forward to this new documentary series, Dave?
Yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to it, but who the fuck's surprised that Peter Jackson couldn't edit a movie?
Yeah, for sure. Well, people on the internet are calling this Lord of the Ringos, is what they're calling it. That's what I heard. That's what I read somewhere.
When I read that, I'm like 150 hours. I'm like, this will be 4 months long.
Yeah,
it'll be exactly. 4 months long. They still haven't said that out of those 6 episodes, each one's 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And it takes place in New Zealand now. They've moved the Beatles to New Zealand.
Yeah, for sure. They're all hobbits now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, I was looking forward to the edited down version that was supposed to come, and so I'm absolutely thrilled that I get more Beatles
Yeah.
and more old footage to get through. Like it's amazing, and anyone who's a Beatles fan, I think, is super stoked to see those sessions and just the trailers that they've been putting out of the movie look amazing. Some of the footage with Yoko Ono sitting there and they're writing Get Back and like all these legendary songs that you've only ever heard, and now you're seeing how the pie was made.
Right.
It's super exciting as a fan and a songwriter.
Yeah, I actually just watched all the Hobbit movies and Lord of the Rings extended editions. In total, it was 20 hours of viewing. I didn't do that all in one sitting, but it was 20 hours of viewing. So if I can do that for Lord of the Rings, I feel like I could go much longer for the Beatles because they're one of my favorite bands of all time. So I think I could sit there and watch as much of it as they wanted to give me. So I'm glad that this is expanding into a limited series, and there's so much material out there that we're getting to see that we haven't seen before. And the thing about the original Let It Be documentary is that it hasn't been officially released on any sort of home video format in the last 40, 50 years, because I don't think the band thought very highly of it. It has this reputation of showing the Beatles as being this dour band that was breaking up in January of 1969, which is very true. They went on to make Abbey Road after Let It Be, of course, but they were breaking up in that time period. There was a lot of miserable stuff happening because they initially started recording the album at Twickenham Film Studio. So they were in this big film warehouse that they were trying to write the songs and record the songs and film the songs at the same time. That wasn't working. So eventually they went over to Apple Studios on Savile Row and finished the record inside their own studio, and that improved the situation. But it'll be interesting to see if Peter Jackson's going to try to put this kind of smiley face, this happy go lucky filter onto the Beatles when they're breaking up. But either way, I'm still excited to see this thing. Let It Be isn't my favorite Beatles album, but it's still the Beatles, so I'm gonna take it. Still better than most bands.
Agreed. Yeah, better than most bands ever. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, so that's coming out November 25th, 26th, 27th. You got your weekend all set. You're going to be watching the Beatles on Disney Plus. I would have gone to the movie theater to see this, but sitting and watching on Disney Plus is just as good for me.
Is this a staggered release, or are they dumping it all at one time?
It'll be those 3 days, 25th, 26th, 27th. They're going to drop three parts, 3 days in a row. So
pretty cool. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Get Back, the happier version of Let It Be. Well, we're going to continue in the Beatles vein for the next opening act topic, and that is George Harrison's All Things Must Pass box set. They're marking the 50th anniversary of George Harrison's debut solo album. A new box that's going to be released with a new remix of the original tapes, remastered. It's going to sound great, I'm sure. And they're also releasing this thing in a $900 Uber Deluxe edition that's going to come with, check this out, Dave. It's going to come with 8 LPs, 5 CDs, a Blu-ray. It's going to come with a book, and it's going to come in an artisanal designed wooden crate. It's going to feature 47 demos, unreleased tracks. Comes out August the 6th. And, I'm excited for this because I love George Harrison. I love All Things Must Pass. His debut solo album is incredible. The rest of his solo albums I'm not so big on, but as far as the debut solo albums from each of the Beatles go, I would say All Things Must Pass is up there. But when I was reading the description of this box set, I was thinking that the reissue game has gotten completely out of control because that is I know it's such a huge part of the record industry and record sales overall. There's a reason why labels continue to reissue these classic albums over and over again, is because they sell. But then I thought that this is the reissue game jumping the shark, because you have a $900 artisanal box set, crafted box. And I'm thinking, where are people going to put this thing? Where are you going to put it in your house? Are you going to put it on a shelf? It's just going to sit there and take up room. The music on the thing is the most important thing, of course, to get all these different unreleased tracks and demos and outtakes, a new version of the album that's going to sound great, I'm sure. That I'm looking forward to. But they've definitely jumped the shark in terms of how big they're making these reissues. And they're scraping the bottom of the barrel with these releases, or scraping the bottom of the artisanal wooden box with these releases. And I'm thinking, okay, if this is the 50th anniversary of this record, this should be the last reissue of this album or of any album. The Beatles just, did 50th reissues of the White Album and Abbey Road and all those ones. Are you really going to do a 60th anniversary edition of these records? I feel like the line has to be drawn somewhere, even if we are big fans of these bands.
Yeah, like the best part is like the NFT is going to sell for 2 million.
I know that's the next thing for sure.
So yeah, I don't know, man. If you're a huge fan, like you're a huge fan of bands like that, there are like, I don't think they're making 200,000. I think they're, this is probably going to be in short supply. But they'll still sell them. I'm sure they'll sell them.
Sure, yeah.
And it's one of those things, like you said, that's just part of the industry. That's it's always been like that. They're always trying to look for another way to sell the same thing to everybody.
Yeah.
And they've done it the whole time. 8 tracks, the records, the LPs, like all the way through cassettes, CDs, and you bought it all the way along, and now we're paying monthly for it. So it's there's always something. So like as someone who makes art, I get the idea of having something like that out, but he's not making it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he put together the box set. So
his son Danny did have some stuff, has some say in it as well. He helped
some say, but so it's but he didn't do it. So it's like, it's not like he was like, I need to compile this thing and put it in this artisanal box. Like, so to me, that's kind of like, it'd be different if it was like Metallica and like, James Hetfield and Lars were smashing out the CD trays in a garage or something. You know what I mean? I was like, ooh, they touched it. They have George Harrison has nothing to do with this. You know what I mean? So it is cool if you're a fan of it, and I get it. Like, if you have the extra cash to do it. But it's not. I like personal things from artists. So like compilations sometimes to me come off as not true to form. And it's good. It's good though. He's alive. He's alive and like aware of what's going on, right?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, this isn't an artisanal box. This Noel Gallagher CD, right? Yeah,
no, it's a promotional avenue for him, and but yeah, if you like George Harrison and you love, and I'm sure there are millions of people that do, and I'm sure they'll have no problem selling those boxes. Most vinyl right now is being sold from reissues and all that jazz. So for the music fan, for the Beatles fan, for the George Harrison fan, obviously 2 thumbs up. The box is probably beautiful. You're probably not going to spend $900 on a better box set. So yeah, it is, that's the world we're in right now.
The thing I'm wondering is like, will the bands of today, 50 years from now, be releasing their artisanal box crates of unreleased demos? No, definitely not. No, it's not.
What would be in your, like, if we put together like one of these box sets, what would be like something, if this one's in an artisanal box, what would yours be? Like, what would be the thing that's like,
maybe like a golden guitar case or something. I don't know.
I would get more personal. I would send like baked goods or like something pickled.
Right.
You get like a vinyl, Dave's Dill Pickles, and something wacky that people are like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it.
Is that your new side hustle that you haven't told me about yet? Are you pickling stuff? Is that what you've been doing during the pandemic?
Not yet.
Pickling
Not yet.
things?
Maybe. I'm on the cusp of becoming a full-time pickler.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the album itself, the crate aside, the box aside, and all this other stuff, the album itself, All Things Must Pass, is an incredible record. My Sweet Lord, All Things Must Pass, the title track, Beware of Darkness, so many great songs. Wah Wah, Isn't It a Pity? So many great songs on that record. It's a classic. I don't think I have a copy of that record. So I might not go for the full box, but maybe I will go for the slightly smaller CD version that comes out, because I don't think I have that one in my collection.
Yeah. Also 900s harsh.
Yeah, that's a good. You can buy much more with that. You can buy
a really nice guitar and write 50 more songs with that kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of moolah. Just saying. I would buy instruments.
That's just what we're saying. You don't have to do what we're doing. You can do your own thing. Right. We're just making suggestions. All right, let's get to our next opening act topic. You know what, Dave? There are a lot of things to talk about. This was another thing that came out of the last couple of days that I thought we should talk about. And that's that Soundgarden have regained control of their social media accounts. The surviving members of the band have regained access to their website, their Facebook, their Twitter, and Instagram after coming to a temporary agreement with Chris Cornell's widow, Vicky Cornell. We've talked about this on the show before. So now the band's going to be able to post on their accounts. And the thing that they stipulated specifically when they were mentioning that they had gotten access to their accounts is that they're asking fans to basically not be jerks, just to be cool. They're asking them to refrain from conspiracy theories about Chris Cornell's death. They're asking them to refrain from hurtful comments about Chris Cornell's family or the band or anybody in between. And their hope is to focus on the music and Soundgarden's legacy overall. I think that's a really good idea. I'm glad that the band has regained access to their social media accounts because we said this up before on the show is that, yeah, obviously Chris Cornell's wife, that is his wife, and that is somebody that he was extremely close to, but Soundgarden and those guys are the people that he made the music with. And I think it's only right that they have access to their social media stuff. And it makes sense that they would want fans to just kind of cool it with a lot of the rhetoric that's been going around the band over the last little while. I think the arguments between the parties hasn't really helped the situation. And obviously fans have gotten embroiled in that themselves. But I think overall, this is a step in the right direction for the legacy of Soundgarden.
Yeah, Vicky, take a hike.
No,
I'm joking.
Dave's taking a hard line approach.
No, not at all. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Yeah, if there's no animosity between the parties, then there shouldn't be. It's no one else's business what's going on. I am super excited that Soundgarden got all their stuff back, and that I think the right thing is being done. I think it was made pretty clear in the last lawsuit that the money that Vicky thought was floating around just simply wasn't floating around.
Yeah.
It wasn't a matter of her being shorted. It's just that's not the world we're in right now. So and obviously, they're classy guys, and I think all those guys are family men now, and everyone's still very sad about what happened with Chris and stuff. So it's very big of them to make a statement like that to get all those dum-dums to stop posting stuff online and hurting people's feelings, because being nice is better.
For sure. Well, it is the internet, so we can only expect the worst when it comes to comment sections on social media. But we're saying this is the step in the right direction. We know that there are unreleased Soundgarden songs that they did work on with Chris Cornell before he passed away. I'm hoping, as we are trying to focus on the band's legacy and their musical legacy, that I am hoping that they can get more of an agreement together to finish those demos. I know that the Soundgarden guys, the same thing with the social media stuff and the website stuff, they didn't have access to any of those tapes. So I'm hoping that this is a step in the right direction for Vicky to hand over those tapes and for those guys to release and we'll finish and then release the music, because I think we would all really, really want to hear it. When Soundgarden put out King Animal in 2012, which was their big reunion, that record exceeded all expectations. When it comes to a band coming back after that long and trying to do something creative like that, it really, really hit everything on all the right notes. It held the right cylinders. So fingers crossed, this could lead to them finishing some Soundgarden stuff.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Like, I'm sure there's tons of material, and even older material too, that it would be nice to have just an open channel with the band, as opposed to having to go through the estate and doing all that stuff, and letting them kind of pick and choose what they think would best represent their band and their legacy. And man, I really hope. Like, I liked a lot of the last couple of years of Soundgarden and their return. We've talked on this show a few times about how many checking out different shows and different sound checks and stuff, and really getting a vibe for what that band was all about. So it's extremely sad what happened, but I think that all the chips are falling in all the right places for the fans and the band, and hopefully the family is getting enough that they don't feel like they're getting taken advantage of. And everybody take it easy on Vicky. Come on. She's a grieving widow. Take it easy. She's got kids. She's a mother.
They're a family. Leave them alone.
Leave them alone. Don't be a bully.
Yeah, give it up.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're doing these weird accents. So let's move on to our next and final opening act topic of this week's Rock Squad podcast. We're talking some good old Canadian rock because that's where we're from. We're not from New York. We're not breaking anybody's legs. We're from Canada. This is where we're going, Canada. All right, so we're from Canada. Sloan, one of our favorite Canadian bands, really one of the best Canadian bands ever, as far as I'm concerned, are releasing their B-Sides Win Volume 2 compilation. This is a sequel to their B-Sides Win Volume 1 compilation, which came out last year, the year before, I believe. This one's going to contain music from 1998 to 2001, which was really a great period in Sloan's discography, from Navy Blues, Between the Bridges, and Pretty Together. It's going to be a vinyl-only collection. It's going to have a limited run of 1,200 copies. And, you know, Dave, for me, Sloan is like the Canadian Beatles. When you think about Sloan and how they work as a band, there are really 4 distinct vocalists and songwriters that work within one band. And they all work so well. When you think about their catalog of hits that they've had over the years, they've had so many great hits. They've had so many great songs. They're a real songwriters band, and they've really given their fans a lot to dig into. When you think of B-sides, Canadian bands don't really release a lot of B-sides. When you think of English bands or even certain American bands like Weezer, they release a lot of B-sides. Oasis, over the years, they would release a single, and on every single was 3 or 4 B-sides that you didn't get on the album. They was all brand new songs that you wouldn't get anywhere else. And Sloan is one of the only Canadian bands that did that as well. So they would release a lot of songs that weren't on their records. And there are quite a few on this compilation that I'm familiar with. There's a song called Summer's My Season, which is fantastic, a great Chris Murphy song that he wrote back in the late 90s. Pretty Together, which is a great Jay Ferguson song. At the Edge of the Scene, that's another great Sloan B-side. So personally, as a music fan, I'm a big collector of B-sides and non-album tracks, and I love it when bands go above and beyond to record extra songs and give their fans a little bit more to dig into. I love when you discover a band and you discover all these kind of diamonds in the rough and gems that you didn't know existed. So I'm really excited that they're compiling all these songs into one vinyl release.
Yeah, it's super cool. Sloan's awesome. I feel the same way. They're kind of our Beatles in the fact that they all kind of sing and they all play different instruments and stuff. Kind of our Weezer, because they were the post-grunge, coming out of grunge kind of thing. Also, Kurt Cobain's favorite Canadian band.
Really?
Don't know if people know that. Yeah, I saw an interview with him talking about going to Toronto, and there's some stuff written about him talking about calling them when they're heading out east, when they were still based in Halifax.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. They're one of those bands that really hit with musicians. They're like musicians that love writing pop songs and love pop rock.
Yeah.
And that era, coming out of the grunge era, or even in the grunge era, really. Yeah, great band. That era of that band is amazing too. They put out some of their best work, so it's really interesting. We just had the Tragically Hip release their new EP, which came out of the Road Apple sessions, which still stands up. You're listening to that record or that EP, and you're like, wow, they were a really great band in that era. Not that they're not now, but you know what I mean. And then you're listening to Sloan. Like that was a great era too for Sloan. So it'll be really interesting to see what kind of gems pop up out of the dust for that one.
Yeah, they already said they have a volume 3 on the way, because they did release a lot of B-sides in the 2000s as well. So they have a volume 3 on the way. I want to say it was about 4 years ago. I saw them at the Because Beer Festival down in Pier 4 Park here in Hamilton, and our radio booth was backed right out onto the tent where they were playing. So in between breaks, I just watched some side stage, and they played all the hits. And yeah, they're a songwriters band, they're a musicians band, they're a music fans band. They've given so much to Canadian music. And when I think of, if I was to say, what are your top 5 favorite Canadian bands, Sloan would be in that conversation somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they're amazing guys, super nice guys. I've had a few run-ins with Chris Murphy through the years, and everybody's very gentlemanly. and they don't they're very East Coast, very Halifax vibe, and it's nice to see them get credit when they deserve it so much, and they're kind of one of those underrated gems from Canada that the US really missed out on.
Yeah, for sure. So we're looking forward to, I think it's already out, the Sloan B-Sides Win Volume 2 compilation, 1,200 copies. So if you're a Sloan fan, don't miss out on that. That is our final opening act topic for this week. And now we're going to get to our headliner topic on this week's Rock Squad podcast. And this isn't a news item or anything like that. We actually thought it'd be fun to switch things up a little bit this week now that the eve of summer is here. We thought we would talk about summer rock albums. Kerrang actually inspired this, the publication, the rock publication. They released their list of the 21 greatest rock and metal albums for summertime. I don't know, maybe some of our lists will interact with this one, Dave, but Andrew WK, I Get Wet was on there, which of course sounds like Party Hard. That's a great summer tune. Audio Slave was on there with their self-titled record. Blink 182, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Anything Blink is usually pretty summery for me. Deftones, Around the Fur, which is heavy, but still I can definitely get some summer vibes from that. Green Day, Dookie, Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experienced, and Weezer, Blue Album. Those were some of the ones that were listed on the Kerrang list. But Dave, now that summer is here, the sun's shining, the weather's been great here in Hamilton, so we're enjoying our summer already. What albums are you going to put on your ultimate summer rock playlist? Which albums are you going to?
So the crossover there would be the Dookie and the Blue album.
Yeah,
they've always stood out for me. And in that kind of era of bands for summertime, I always have a Blood Sugar Sex Magic vibe. I always feel like old Chili Pepper stuff kind of gets, the funk. It's funky, it's fun, for sure. But honestly, when summertime comes around, I get really into punk for some reason. Like every year I get it's like a lot of Southern California punk and Northern California punk from like the 90s and stuff, like bands like Goldfinger and bands like that, like other band like Blink 182, of course, you said, like Enema of the State, or one of those records. Anything from the band Lit.
I was going to say Lit. Yeah,
Lit's a good one.
Place in the Sun and Atomic, those two records.
Amazing summertime jams. You put those on, everybody's having a good time. One of my favorites is So Much for the Afterglow by Everclear.
Good choice.
That's in that era. And Smash by Offspring always bring back summertime, summertime vibes for me. You could even throw in the Green Album with Island in the Sun. That whole record's pretty bright and poppy.
Yeah, that's a definite one.
Yeah, man, I'm a big California punk guy. I love Rancid in the summertime. Rancid always gets on my
Ruby
list.
Soho action.
Ruby Soho for sure. I'm not ashamed to jump on the ska bandwagon every once in a while. I'll have some skas on there.
Breaking out the horn section.
Yeah, as long as it's good, as long as it's moving, I'm on board. But yeah, summertime for me is always more of a punk rock thing. What about you? What did you have on your list?
I think we're both in the same ballpark here, because when it comes to summertime music, summertime rock, I need things to be really sunny and really upbeat. I'm thinking about driving in the car, I'm cranking the tunes. What songs are you going to put your shades on to and you're going to cruise down the road to? That's kind of what I'm going for. I really want to feel the sunshine in my summertime playlist. Lit, A Place in the Sun and Atomic, like you were saying. Lit is one of my all-time summertime bands. There's a great song on Atomic called Sunny Weather, which is a great summertime song. Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, or pretty much anything with the Beach Boys. I know that's not necessarily hard rock or punk rock or anything like that, but they are classic California sunny summertime music, so they're definitely on there. Foo Fighters, There's Nothing Left to Lose. Their third record, to me, is such a huge sunny record because it's got these big sunny rockers. You got Learn to Fly, Breakout, Generator, Gimme Stitches, Live in Skin. So you got these big rockers, but then you have these really nice, I like to call them like sundown ballads. on that record, like Ain't It the Life and Aurora. Like if you were thinking about a great acoustic record, the Foo Fighters In Your Honor Disc 2 would be a great one as well. A couple more. Daywave, The Days We Had, which is a record that came out a couple years ago, which is it's not hard rock, but it's dreamy pop. Just reminds me of summertime every time I hear it. It's one of those, windows down kind of records. The new record from Seaway, which came out last year, Big Vibe. That is a great summer record as well. It came out in October. When I first heard it, I thought, okay, well, it's October now. I definitely have to break that out when summer finally comes around. So that was
Vacation was good too.
Vacation's a great summer record too. Yeah, totally. And then Weezer's White Album, I put that on the list as well. And then Third Eye Blind's third album called Out of the Vein is, Third Eye Blind, really. Third Eye Blind, sure. Along with Lit, is one of, poppy rock, one of my favorite summertime bands for sure. So those are some of my picks for great summertime rock.
Yeah, we crossed over pretty much exactly what I thought we would, and like more modern, if we're going to talk, like that's kind of like my go-to, like growing up music that I would listen to, but more modern, I think I get more into bands like Kings of Leon in the summertime. I tend to play more Muse in the summertime too. Yeah, I like especially like
summertime band.
Yeah, I know it's weird. I think it's just where I picked them up in like my life. You know what I mean? Like there's certain bands that, and like you said, the Foo Fighters, In Your Honor is a great one that I think of summertime too. Totally. Even Color and the Shape. That, like, I got into that during the summer, so I have a lot of memories of like swimming in friends' pools and listening to that album in like backyards and stuff. So there's so many great summer rock records. But I'm definitely, my punk level turns up as soon as the sun shines. I think it's because I used to skateboard too. Yeah. So it's like when you're out there and if you're biking or skateboarding and stuff, it's great to you just crank up the punk rock and let go.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of my favorite summer music, like you're saying, it's kind of tied to when we were younger a little bit. Like you're saying, you're hanging out in backyards, swimming in pools, you're going skateboarding, you're hanging out with friends. I mean, you still have that stuff, you still have a lot of those summer vibes now, but it's a little bit different, right? So it's I know a lot of, when I think of Lit, I think back to being a teenager when that first album came out. It came out in the summer. It was a big summer album when it came out. So I still think I tie a lot of that nostalgia to that record. So, but I love it. Like every time summer comes around, I love to, either, put together a playlist or, rock a Spotify playlist, something that really represents that sunny vibe, because we live in Canada. And not to say it's always cold here, but a large part of the year we are covered in snow and it's cold. So when the summer comes around, you really want to live it up with a good summertime playlist.
For sure. You know who I listen to a lot in the summer? The band Rooney.
That's Jason Schwartzman's brother, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I really got into them. They have a similar like kind of Weezer post grunge vibe to them, but like catchy pop songs, and like they're in the mix all the time too. Like that always pops up, but one of those bands you wouldn't expect. But definitely.
In that kind of groove, we have like Phantom Planet too, or Jason Schwartzman's band Coconut Records. They had a lunch. The Coconut Records has a great song called "The Summer." It's always the summer back in Alabama. It's a good song.
Yeah, Jason Schwartzman. Who doesn't like Jason Schwartzman?
Yeah, he's the man for sure. So man, like those are my summertime picks, and I dig your summertime picks as well. We are very much in sync when it comes to our summertime playlists.
Unity, brother, unity.
Yeah, so let us know if you're watching the show, or you're listening on a podcast. Let us know in the comments what your favorite summertime records are, or let us know on Twitter and Instagram at Rock Squad Pod what your favorite summer tracks are, and let us know. We'd love to hear some suggestions. I'm always looking for a good summertime song.
Yeah, me too. Let us know.
All right. So let's wrap up the show with our tracks of the week. These are the songs that we've been listening to this week. For me personally, we were talking about earlier in the show, Mammoth WVH, the new record is incredible. There's a song on this record called Epiphany, which I think is song number 3 or 4. It's an incredible record all the way through, but that's definitely one of my songs that I really enjoyed. And there's a song that just popped up in one of my Spotify playlists. I think it popped up in a summertime playlist, Dave, to be honest. It's by a musician that I'm not too familiar with, but just started discovering, named Briston Maroney. And the song's called Freaking Out on the Interstate. It's not a hard rock song. It's more of a melodic indie rock song. It's hard to describe, but it's a great song. He's got a great voice. So those are my picks of the week, my tracks of the week. How about you?
Awesome. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go, because I was talking about Southern California and that kind of stuff. Anything off of Smash by the Offspring, So when I think of Driving to the Cottage, I think of being 11 years old and driving with my grandfather and turning up Bad Habit.
Nice.
Like in the bridge in Bad Habit. So Bad Habit by Offspring is one. And the title track from So Much for the Afterglow by Everclear has a really cool Beach Boysy kind of intro.
Yeah.
And whenever that pops on, it makes you feel like summer. It makes you think of palm trees, and and that's interesting because for a band, Everclear, known for Santa Monica and that kind of vibe, aren't they from like Boston, Massachusetts or something? I don't even think they're a California band.
Oh, yeah. Are they? Yeah, Boston. Maybe they're from Chicago. Hold on. Well, you know what? We have we have the internet here.
Let's check it out.
Quick little Google search. Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
So still West Coast, but not SoCal by any stretch.
Why did I think they were Boston? I don't know. Well, but anyways, not SoCal at all. Like, they're not running to the beach. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, weird shit. But yeah, that's my So Much for the Afterglow, Everclear, Offspring, Smash. Those are my picks. Those are Nick's picks. That's our show. But before we go, make sure you drop down to the bottom. You subscribe to our channel. You like our video. You comment. You let us know what your summer picks are. You can follow us at Instagram, Rock Squad Pod, Twitter. I'm on Facebook, Red Coast Records. I'm on Instagram, Red Coast Records. We play in a band called Fools Union, foolsunion.com, Fools Union on Spotify, Fools Union on Apple Music. Anywhere you get music, you can get this podcast anywhere you get podcasts. Nick, did we cover everything?
Yeah, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify or wherever. Your reviews, your comments, your subscriptions, it all helps us out a lot. You can follow me at The Walking Nick, and Rock Squad Pod. And we'll see you guys again for another episode of the Rock Squad Podcast next week. Until then, rock on, Dave.
Rock on, Nick.